Charlie was someone who once said, guns save lives after a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd. There are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so. These people are full of shit, and it's important for us to call them out.
Let's bring in Dave Rubin. Great to have you in New York, Dave, host of the Rubin Report and very close friend of Charlie Kirk's, and we sympathize with your deep loss of your friend.
Well, it's everybody. It's everybody in this building. It's the look that you gave me when we walked in. When I walked in here, it's like this should not be happening, and yet here we are. And then there's all the political and cultural war part of it that we just saw. That's completely secondary to a good man who is not with us anymore.
I mean, there are some people who are, I think, trying to make an effort to do the right thing. I think Bernie Sanders put out a statement that was positive. But, Ilhan Omar, what would you say to her?
Well, first, I would say broadly about Charlie, when it comes to people like Ilhan, there was no one, not a single person in America at a high-profile level who was doing a better job of reaching across the aisle than him. That is what his ethos was, his entire career and everything he was doing at the colleges. And years ago, I did, dozens of those events with him, and we'd get protested, and they'd pull fire alarms, and they'd throw things at us, and bomb threats, and all those things. And we would always say, if you disagree with us, come up first. That was from Charlie, and I do that now in all of my shows. I fully credit Charlie for that. I think Charlie would hear what Ilhan said right there, and I think he would say, you want to talk it out? I really think he would. Now, it's getting increasingly difficult to do that, to watch her smile and to watch the smugness about that, and the implication that somehow if you're for guns, that there's some layer of hypocrisy of him being killed here is so profoundly absurd. But there's also this other part of this where we end up now talking about politics, and there is a wife without her husband, and there are children without their father, and there is a young conservative movement that doesn't have a leader right now. Charlie represented something that was bigger than politics, in that what he wanted was America to be for Americans, in that he didn't really care what your exact political beliefs were. He had his. They were very clear and everything else. But he and I would debate things all the time. When we met 10 years ago, I was a lefty, so we would debate abortion, we'd debate marriage equality, we would debate all of the death penalty, everything. And over the years, thanks in large part to Charlie's eloquence, we became a lot closer. And I don't know that Charlie and I had much we disagreed on, but there was no one doing it more than Charlie.